We thought the dynasty was over. We thought it was over with. We thought it was done. They went 7-9 last year. It was looking bad. It was looking bleak. They were lacking talent all over. We thought it was more Brady than Belichick. And Belichick goes, "Oh, really?" Belichick goes, hold my beer. Watch this. And the New England Patriots spend $160 million in free agency. I mean, this completely shifts not only the AFC East, this shifts the entire AFC. The New England Patriots are big players now. They spent a lot of money in free agency, and I want to talk about the additions that they made. Probably the first major signing was re-signing Cam Newton. Now, granted, it's a 1-year deal, but worth $14 million. So, in terms of pay scale, he's one of the lower starting quarterbacks, if not, I think the lowest starting quarterback in the league in terms of annual salary. But we'll get to Cam Newton. I want to kind of circle back to Cam after I detail everything else that they did in free agency. So let's start with Trent Brown. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh, the Las Vegas Raiders have just they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And I hate front offices that don't know what they're doing. But this isn't about the Raiders. We ain't talking about that right now. The New England Patriots acquired Trent Brown from the Raiders for like a 6th-round pick? A 5th-round pick? I mean, for nothing. This is an elite tackle that the Patriots are getting for nothing. And he restructured his contract, took less money to play for the Patriots. Like, what? I mean, he's still 27. Like, this isn't some over the hill, a 33-year-old, maybe on the downtrend. No, he's young and excited to be back in New England. So excited that he took less money to be here. Like, A+ move for New England. Like, let's take a look at this offensive line for New England. Like, they have Isaiah Wynn at left tackle, former 1st-round pick. They have Michael Onwenu, a rookie last year who, played phenomenally. I think he was a 6th-round pick. Played way above expectations. He's entrenched there at the left guard spot. Center David Andrews. Let's talk about David Andrews right now. They re-signed him to a 4-year deal worth $19 million. That's it? $19 million for over the course of the 4-year contract for a guy who's at least a top 10 center. I mean, compare this to Rodney Hudson for a 3rd-round pick. Now, and don't get me wrong, that's a great move by the Arizona Cardinals. Or, the center from the Packers, his name is escaping me. Corey Linsley. The Chargers paid him $62.5 million. Again, I like the move. Don't get me wrong, but you're getting David Andrews for $19 million over 4? It's like that meme. It's like that meme from Breaking Bad with Jesse Pinkman where he goes, "You can't keep getting away with this. How do they keep getting away with this?" Oh my goodness, bruh. You have Shaq Mason coming back at the right guard spot, and then Trent Brown filling in the right tackle spot. This is a top 2 offensive line. The only line I can think of off the top of my head that's better than that starting 5 is the line that's in Cleveland. Other than that, I mean, it's New England. Like, unreal, bro. Like, the Trent Brown addition, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. They add Jonnu Smith, is probably the biggest free agent acquisition Um, a 25-year-old tight end from who started in Tennessee. Um, Young guy, versatile guy. Belichick talked him up a couple times when he played Tennessee. Saying he's very versatile. You can play him at different spots. Sort of like how I described Kyle Pitts um, in the mock draft breakdown. You can play Jonu everywhere. And he's a good blocker. So, and I want to talk about Hunter Henry as well in this same space. So you add Hunter Henry and Jonu Smith, two very good tight ends, but very different tight ends. Jonu Smith is a guy who can catch the short intermediate routes and take him to the house. Hunter Henry is that dog, that chain mover. You need 5 yards, he's gonna get you 6. He's gonna be the consistent option, while Jonu Smith is gonna be the home run hitter, this safety blanket, but also a home run hitter. And both these guys can block. So you have this phenomenal offensive line. You add in these two cornerstone tight end pieces who can also block. With Cam Newton, who rushed for 12 touchdowns last year, Damian Harris, who is a bulldozer, Sony Michel, they brought back James White as well. This running game, I would be shocked if this running game is not top 5 next year, top 3 next year. Dare I say the best running game in the NFL? This front is just stupid loaded. I mean, my goodness. They added Davin Gaccio, I think is how you pronounce his name. Interior defensive lineman. Good run stuffer. He knows the system. He played 2 years. His last 2 years with Brian Flores in Miami. Brian Flores comes from that Belichickian scheme. So he knows the system. I like that fit. And this is what you do with interior linemen. You don't spend high picks on them. You don't pay big money for them. You get I think it's a 2-year deal. You get a very good run stuffer. And you plug him in. I like that move a lot. They added Jalen Mills. Now, when I first heard this move, it was kind of confusing to me. Jalen Mills. I'm a Giants fan, so I'm used to watching Jalen Mills. He gets burned a lot, but that's at corner. Since moving to safety, he's been a lot better. I can admit that. And this move makes a little more sense now that the news got out that Patrick Chung is planning to retire. So, I mean, let's take a look at this defensive back group. Obviously, you have Stephon Gilmore, one of the best, if not the best, corner in football. You have the McCourty twins, Devin, Jason. You have Adrian Phillips. You have their first pick last year, Kyle Duggar. You have Jonathan Jones. You have J.C. Jackson, who they tendered, a second-round tender to. And I'm kind of surprised that nobody's kind of bit on that second-round tender. J.C. Jackson is a nice player. I think he led the league in interceptions last year, and he's young. He's how old is J.C. Jackson? He is 25 years old. That's prime age for a corner, if not about to hit his prime. I'm surprised nobody's gone after that second round tender. Jojuan Williams too is another corner I like that they have. You add Jalen Mills to this group, this secondary group is stacked, bruh. I mean, my goodness. You look at this roster is completely different from last year. And last year they won 7 games still. You have to understand, New England's making the playoffs next year. That's minimum. They're making the playoffs next year. I'll put, I'm willing to stick my neck out for that. They're making the playoffs next year. I mean, my goodness, bro. My goodness. Granted, Jalen Mills isn't the best player. But, Belichick sees something he likes. And I'm not one to argue with the greatest coach of all time. So, they added Matt Judon, power rusher, former Baltimore Raven, 5-year veteran. He's just 28 now. It's a 4-year deal, I think. So we'll see how long he's a part of the Patriots on that 4-year deal. But I like this move a lot. Um, you pair him with Dietrich Wise, who they also re-signed. They added Henry Anderson from the Jets. Again, Dalvin Gotcha, like I said, Chase Winovich, who is a nice young player. I like him a lot. Josh Uchi. I mean, dude, like, the more I talk about the Patriots, like, I haven't even broken down all the players they've added yet. And it's like, my goodness, bruh. Now, I will bag on the Patriots a little bit because going into free agency, you know, I'm a big Cam Newton fan. One of his biggest fans. I have Cam on the banner of my YouTube page. Like, I'm a diehard Cam Newton fan. One of my favorite players in the league. I wanted them to add receivers. Granted, they did through tight ends, but I wanted receivers too. I thought Curtis Samuel would have been a great fit in New England with Josh McDaniels. You know, that versatile scheme. You can do a lot of things with Curtis Samuel. Maybe they could do those same things with Jonnu Smith because he is fast enough. But the receivers they added Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. Not the highest, not the biggest names, Granted, much respect to Nelson Aguilar because he played very well, a lot better than anybody expected with the Las Vegas Raiders last year. So we'll see what he does. Downfield threat Cam. I'll be realistic. Isn't the best deep ball thrower at this moment in time, but people, teams are going to be stacking the box because of this run game. They're going to be stacking the box, staying close to the line of scrimmage because of Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry being the focal points. So there should be ample opportunity for a guy like Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne for that matter. Kendrick Bourne is fast as well to get over the top of the defense. So, they didn't overpay either guy, as the contract details broke out. So I don't mind it, but not exactly inspiring additions. So that's the one part where I'll bag on them. But I mean, this got me, bro. They brought back Kyle Van Noy for cheap, 1 year removed from him signing a mega contract with the Dolphins. Like, why? Dolphins, why? Like, I'm almost speechless. Like, I don't understand them letting go Kyle Van Noy, a great locker room guy. He knows the system. A leader. He's gonna fit in perfectly with right back with the New England Patriots. Like, unreal move, man. Unreal move. I love almost everything that the New England Patriots did. The receiver thing I can kind of get behind because this scheme that they're going to be implementing is going to be a lot of twin tight end sets. It's going to be a lot of fullback heavy. They're gonna pound you. It's not gonna be a finesse team. This team with that offensive line, those running backs, Cam Newton, they're gonna pound you. And now I do want to get back to Cam Newton because he was heavily disrespected last year. Now, I know his stat line wasn't great. I'll break it down. He had 8 touchdowns last year, 2,600 yards, 10 interceptions. Not great. Definitely not great. I'll be the first to admit he didn't play great. Maybe he didn't even play good last year. But here's the thing. His offensive line was significantly less than what it is now. The receiving talent he had around him last year, N'Keal Harry, was his number one. Julian Edelman played like 2, 3, 4 games and then was out for the season. That's their best player. And respect to Julian Edelman because he's a great player, maybe even a Hall of Famer. But at this point in his career, 34 years of age, he's not a number one. Maybe he's not even a number two. So, and that's your best player who was out a majority of last season. You know, guys like Jacoby Myers, guys like, you know, Demir Bird, Gunnar Olszewski. Like, these are not household names. And that's the reason why Tom Brady left. Because of the lack of receiving help. Why do you think he went to Tampa? Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. I mean, hello? Can't compare those weapons to the weapons in New England? Doesn't even compare. Like, so I think you have to give Cam some leeway here. A lot of people thought Tom Brady was washed his final season in New England. Clearly, he was not washed. It was the surrounding talent. One man can't do it alone. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Cam Newton was unfairly criticized last year. I think he's going to be much better this year, especially with the scheme that they plan on implementing. You know, they're very clearly stating how they're going to run the offense next year with these free agency additions. So, I think, you know, am I saying Cam's going to go back to being a top 10 quarterback? No, that's not what I'm saying, but can he be top 20? Hell yeah. I think so. And a top 20 Cam, the Patriots are easily making the playoffs. And they're a tough out for anybody. They are a tough out for anybody. Kansas City, with their offensive line, woes, you know. Bill Belichick has always coached up and schemed very well against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. You know, against Baltimore, you know, Lamar is Lamar, but I think New England matches up nicely with the Ravens too. You know, the Bills will be interesting. The Bills will be very interesting. Because Josh Allen's a freak. But I think they have the secondary to match the receivers. And I don't like that the Buffalo Bills let go of John Brown. They did add Emmanuel Sanders, but, you know, John Brown brings that speed element, man. So, I don't know. But New England is back. Best, you know, believe you me, they are back. And I can't wait to watch this team, man. Because the roster is back to the standard of the New England Patriot football team. And I know Bill Belichick is raring to go. I know he heard all the talk, even though, you know, he may not respond to it. I know he heard it. So I can't wait to see what he has planned, man. Like, that defense is stacked, bruh. I could see this being a top 3 running game and a top 3 defense. With those two components alone, they have a legitimate shot at making a championship run. And just thinking about it gets me smiling. Can you imagine a New England Patriot, Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl? Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick? A lot has to happen. That's a massive if. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But can you imagine if it did happen? Like, I'm getting jittery thinking about that. So, we'll see what happens, man. They still have the number 15 pick in the draft. They're still going to get better. Like, this isn't the end of them getting better. It's not like this is the team they're fielding. No, they're going to get better. They're going to add more pieces to this. Like, I don't know who they're going to take at 15. I mean, ideally, I'd love to see Micah Parsons fall to 15. I think in a Bill Belichick scheme, you know, with the greatest defensive mastermind in NFL history, coaching up a guy with that much raw talent and athleticism, that would be dirty. Learning behind a guy like Dante Hightower, who, forgot to mention, is coming back from opting out last year. I mean, that's a match made in heaven. So ideally, I'd love to see Micah Parsons there. We'll see what happens. Will he fall there? I don't know. I could see the Giants taking Micah Parsons at 11. So we'll see, man. But that's my breakdown. I'm going to be talking about the Packers. My next video, after they re-signed Aaron Jones, what I think about that move. So appreciate y'all for watching. Like the video, subscribe, hit the noties, and I'm going to see y'all on the next one.